Happy First Contact Day, everybody. Just to get that out of the way already. It's April 5th. 2063, we had first contact with the Vulcans. I always thought that it was a little bit different than what we saw in the film First Contact, but I'm willing to accept the canon of Star Trek First Contact as a film. And I'm willing to accept that Zefram Cochrane made contact with Vulcans 2063, April 5th. And that the Sovereign class Enterprise E has something to do with it. And it has something to do with the Borg. I don't know. Well, with that out of the way, let's get into the meat of this particular little video. On my last video, I had people mentioning what their favorite costumes were. Okay, and I felt that I could put together a quick video showing what my favorite costumes were, and I could do it in the form of a tier list. So I'm going to get these headphones off because I can't hear anything anyway. So let's get into it. I could not find a already made tier list for Star Trek costumes on Tier Maker, so I had to take the time to make my own. The Tier Maker website is a bit glitchy for me, so I ended up with double the amount of images, but it shouldn't matter because the ones that are cut off at the legs are actually doubled here. Like, you can see them down below the top halves of them. I haven't figured out yet how to edit a tier list in such a way that I can remove some images and keep the others. So bear with me on that. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the ones that I think are just bad. We have the Star Trek Picard current era uniform, the ones that we see during Star Trek Picard and not in a flashback. That one's going in C. Very bland, very drab. Not the most forgettable, but I think it's just slightly a step above Voyager's. Which is to say, sorry guys, the Enterprise variant of the Star Trek Discovery uniforms, lazy design. You can tell that it's actually just the Discovery uniforms repainted. Like, they're almost the exact same. They really didn't go far enough to make them Enterprise-y. So I'm gonna put them in B because they're kind of fun, but they're going in B. Kelvin timeline. We are including alternate timelines here. We're including alternate timelines, but we're only considering the default duty uniforms. We're not considering variants. We're not considering different colors. We're just going with default duty uniform. If I went through every single uniform that was ever seen on screen, this tier list would be a mile long. So we have the Kelvin duty uniform, and in this case, for no particular reason, it's in Command Gold. That doesn't matter though. Don't worry about that. Command Gold Kelvin. I like it a little bit more than Discovery Enterprise, to be honest with you. It's a little bit more feels closer to TOS, but bringing enough of its own flair. This is not a review of the movies or shows that these uniforms come from. This is not an endorsement of Kelvin Timeline in any way. I'm reviewing the uniforms, so don't take this as a review for the shows and or movies that they come from, by the way. Discovery Season 3, 32nd Century Starfleet uniform. Pretty good. I liked it more when I first saw it. When I first saw them, I thought they were really slick, but I've come to find them to be a little bit bland over time. So I've fallen out of love with them, but I still think they're cool. I'm going to put them in B for now. Kelvin Star Trek Beyond uniforms. These are ace. I like these. These are what I would expect to see in a proper evolution of a TOS uniform. I wear one myself. I wear an engineering one for lack of a proper TOS one. Just a fun uniform, and we're getting rid of that nonsense with the pattern design. All through the 2010s and 2000s, for that matter, for some reason we were not allowed to have flat colors on anything. We had to have little designs on everything. The first time I saw it was with Superman Returns. Superman's suit had a million little S logos on it. I got tired of it, and it's finally gone in Star Trek Beyond, and we went back to flat colors, which I thought is cool. It's understated, but fun. Here's the Voyager uniform, otherwise known as the most forgettable uniform. What's special about it? Absolutely nothing. It's got an ugly comm badge. It's got an ugly, like, off purple gray shirt underneath. It's boring. It's drab. It's just sad. It doesn't. If I were an alien and I saw that, I wouldn't want to join them. I wouldn't want to join Starfleet. I would think that I was going to be joining a stuffy and boring organization filled with dummies. If I was gonna, that sounded extremely harsh. I'm sorry, but I don't love the Voyager uniform. Sorry. And these are error. Captain Robau's uniform at the beginning of Star Trek 2009. Love it. Love it. It's it's so fun. It's fun because we've got the full color on top and the black pants to go with it, but we've got a tasteful black stripe across the middle, similar to the All Good Things uniform, we'll call it, from TNG, if you remember that, where we went to the future and saw the uniforms from that timeline with the black piping on it. Robau's uniform at the beginning of the Kelvin universe really has that going on. I'm not going to get into it about whether or not it's canon, because technically this took place before the Narada's intrusion into the Prime timeline. I'm not getting into that. It's a cool uniform. Go check it out. Discovery Standard Duty Uniform. This is the uniform I'd expect a 12-year-old to design. It's all flash and no heart. It's got piping all over the place. It's got stripes all over the place, emblems all over the place. It's gaudy. It's flashy. Who are you trying to impress? Come on. And it doesn't look particularly fun to wear. What's up next? The Lower Decks uniform. Love it. This is the first one going in S. It's just a fantastic interpretation of a Star Trek uniform, I think, if you look at the Lower Decks uniforms. It's like a mix of everything. You got the Wrath of Khan wraparound type style, and you got the black on top, TNG. It's not too much black. You're getting a lot of the division color, which is good, and you're getting a white stripe in the center. Very interesting. And it comes complete with matching color boots, matching pants around the rim at the bottom of the pants. You can't beat this uniform. Say what you want about Lower Decks. I think the uniform's ace. Here is the Star Trek Picard flashback uniform. The angles incorporated into this uniform are a mistake. There is something wrong with the way the cuffs are. Cuffs should not be at a diagonal. Cuffs should be like that, not like that. It feels wrong. It messes up my brain looking at it. It's a faux pas. And if you're using that as your default duty uniform, which I think I seen it in the flashback that it used to be the duty uniform. it just looks way too flashy to be duty. It looks weird. And I know that's the Admiral variant, but there is a duty uniform version of that. We've seen, what's his name? Rios look at his old uniform, and it looked like that when he had a mental breakdown over something, and he looked at his uniform and was thinking of putting it on, and I was just saying, oh my god, put it on, put the uniform on, do some kind of Starfleet thing in this show, for God's sake. But he never did. So we're down to the Cage version of the TOS Enterprise uniform. I like it. Some days I like it more than the actual TOS one we got, but then other days I like TOS more. It's okay. It's got more of a turtleneck kind of going on. It looks more like something you would actually wear in the Navy, just a kind of a sweater pullover. It's simple, it's effective. I like a simple design. I like a design that's timeless, and simplicity often goes hand in hand with that. So that's where I'm gonna put the Cage era uniforms. I'm gonna put them in lower B. In case you don't know what the Cage is, that was the pilot for Star Trek TOS. Later mashed up and reused for a great two-parter, I believe, The Menagerie. I think it was a two-parter in TOS. Go check it out if you didn't see it. And also check out the full remastered version of The Cage with Captain Pike. The TOS uniform. You're going in high A. How could I put it any lower? It's so classic. The black rim, it's understated. Just you got your division color, a black collar, and stripes on your wrists. When you think Star Trek, 75 to 80% of people are going to think that uniform. And there's a reason for it. Let's be honest. Here's the TNG Season 1 and Season 2 uniform, S. I already mentioned how much I like that in a previous video. I think it's combining everything good about TOS with everything good about the Wrath of Khan style Monster Maroon uniforms. With its own kind of subtle flair. It's got the swoop in it. It's got this line that goes down to the center, and it makes it look futuristic and fast. I just think it's really cool, and I think it's a great companion piece to the Galaxy class. Here is the last episode of TNG uniforms. I'm going to put them in low S, very similar to what we saw in Lower Decks, but very cool. Also, very cool variant of the comm badge, I must say. Check it out in final episode of TNG, and I believe it also showed up in Deep Space Nine at some point in a flash forward. I think Nog wore one when we saw Captain Nog. I think he was a captain. Anyway, the Deep Space Nine duty uniform. I don't like it at all. This is one of the worst ones. This is the first D. If you like Deep Space Nine, the uniform, I respect it. I respect you, but for me, that uniform is too dark. It is too violent. It is the first uniform, I think, that enters into the scary range, which is when you look like you're a spooky military entity. And I think that uniform kind of gives off that vibe. Not nearly enough of your division color in it. It looks stuffy. It looks hot. A few simple changes, and it could be the best uniform. But for now, it's going in D. It's high D, but it's in D. Here we have the Wrath of Khan variant of the uniform. I'm going to put that. I'm going to put it in high C. So it's ahead of the Picard shit, the Voyager stuff, and Discovery. Too big, too stuffy. They call them the Monster Maroons for a reason. Maroon being the color and monster being how big it looked. It's very imposing, scary, and it seems like a strange outlier when you compare it to all the other uniforms. It seems really different, and it makes you wonder, like, wow, why is this uniform so strange? Loved it at first, and didn't like it ever since. I've slowly fallen out of love with it. I would have loved to have had a few more passes on that to simplify the design before it went to screen, but what do you do? The TNG Type 2 uniform that showed up in Season 3, I don't like it. It's boring, it looks hot, it's stuffy. You cannot get a good fit on it. The fit is always wrong on this, I noticed. It always looks too big on every character. It looks like you're selling furniture or something. I don't know how to explain it. It's alright, and I get that it's super popular. Like, the other 20% that don't imagine a TOS uniform when they imagine Star Trek, imagine this uniform. The default TNG uniform. It's going in lower B. The motion picture uniform. A lot of people hate this. I don't. I would put it ahead of the Discovery Season 3 uniforms. It's got the pajama things going on, but it has a cold, clinical look to it that, while Deep Space Nine uniforms look cold and clinical, they look violent. The motion picture ones are cold and clinical, but also inviting, in the same way a school teacher might be, or somebody running some type of like a blood bank, or some kind of medical institution that was open to the public, like somebody handing out flu shots. You know what I mean? Like, it gives off, like, I'm kind of safe now vibe, even though it's pajamas and it's all one color. And I don't hate it. I like it more than the Wrath of Khan uniform, which some people would see as sacrilege. If you think that, that's fine. But we're moving on to the uniforms we saw in a flash forward to the distant future. I believe it was the 29th century. These are the uniforms seen on the Relativity, the time ship. Bold choice for changing up the division colors. That's ballsy. You know, it's very easy to keep going with red, yellow, and blue all the time, but they changed command to, like, blue or something like that, which was cool. I like it a lot. I like the asymmetry of it. I like the comm badge. And I like how it resembles almost the way alien uniforms look in Star Trek. You know, how they kind of got that, it's kind of got, like, patterns on it, but not, like, all over the place. It's alien-y, which makes it feel futuristic. It feels more futuristic than the 32nd century uniforms, if you can believe it. I will put it just below the motion picture. And the Enterprise jumpsuits. Last but not least, love them. They look fun to wear. It's always good when you see a uniform and you think, damn, I want to wear that. This uniform has the added benefit of making you not feel bad for getting it muddy or ripped. Kirk would love it. What's the main problem? The ranking. They're going back with pips. They should have had stripes on the shoulders, maybe, you know? Just to kind of make it different. I mean, they're already going with shoulder piping for the division color. just keep going and put stripes on the shoulders. If you did that, that would be my favorite uniform. But that anachronistic thing aside with the pips, it's just a fun uniform. And there's a slight variant in the last episode of Enterprise that is not different enough to worry about here. It's just you get a name tag, basically, and the color of it is slightly different. That's it, basically. So don't worry about it. For our purposes, we'll consider them the same uniform. We're also not considering Mirror Universe uniforms, even though Enterprise had a cool Mirror Universe episode, or two. But we won't get into that here. That is beyond the scope of this video. So this is provisionally what my tier list looks like. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I'm going to take one more look at this. I kind of want to put this down. I want to put TOS up. I want to put this ahead of this. I want to oh, man. I feel like D tier is a little bit sparse. I'm going to actually move down this Picard uniform to D, and I'm going to move down Discovery to D. But I'm going to move Discovery to high D, just because of how bad of a flub it was to have them all be blue. Have you noticed that with the first few seasons of Discovery? They wanted to set out and do their own thing, but inside a timeline where you can't really do everything you want to do, creatively. What's the word? Creatively? Yeah. And then season 2, they go back to the normal colors. Just change your mind, did you? Or did you realize your original ideas were stupid? Give me a break. Voyager. That Picard one's a little bit better than it, sorry. I'm gonna put this in C, and I'm gonna put Wrath of Khan up. I'm gonna put Relativity behind that. I'm gonna put TNG Type 2 just barely ahead of the Cage. I'm gonna move Motion Picture down. I feel it's a little bit too different. I'm gonna leave Discovery Enterprise where it is, just because it's very slick, and you're gonna turn some heads if you wear it, which is cool. It's always cool to me. B, I'm gonna leave Kelvin where it is. It's just a good all-rounder, you know. I mean, if you go on eBay, this is the most common one to find right now, and I think there's a reason for it. It's just a all-around decent uniform. It's not turning any heads, and it's not making a huge statement, but it's not incredibly boring or incredibly violent looking either. Robow Kelvin, very cool. Better than standard Kelvin. Only on screen for a second. Go back and check it out. The beginning of Star Trek 2009. Check out those uniforms. All Good Things. TNG. it's cool, but it feels geriatric in some way. Go look at those uniforms. It feels like, I don't know. They feel they feel ceremonial. I don't know how to explain it. There's something about them that keeps them back down for me. Star Trek Beyond, fantastic interpretation of the TOS uniforms. Enterprise, just a wonderful, fun uniform to wear. Just enough like coveralls that you can get away with it in public, but you're gonna be catching the gaze of some people, which is what you want. You want to be loud and proud. TOS, deceptively simple, iconic even. Lower Decks, it's got everything. What can I say? It's quintessential in that it takes everything and jams it together in a bright and fun way that does not come off as violent or boring. It comes off as, hey, look at us, we're cool, don't you want to be like us? And the slickest, most badass uniform, I think, is the One Piece TNG Season 1 and Season 2 uniform. Oh my god, the way it fits the body, it makes you look like the future. You look like a friggin' beast in that thing if you have the right body type, and if you behind the scenes stuff aside, I know the costumes weren't comfortable. I know they got hot and sticky and smelly. Redesign that uniform with current garment producing technology, and I think you could really get something cool out of it. Maybe even convert it to a two-piece. Might be okay, but give it a tight fit to hide that, and I think you would have the best uniform. The swoop, the way the neck goes up your neck a little bit, kind of like a turtleneck from TOS, and it's got the rim on it, and it shows just a lot of the division color, and it's got the swoop on the chest, and then the break to look like a Starfleet Delta, and then the pants, the cuff on the leg has your division color piping on it too. Damn, man, it's a nice uniform. Go look at it. Here's my tier list. What do you guys think? I think I put some thought into it. If you disagree, tell me why. If you love it, tell me why. If you like the video, click like. If you disliked it, click dislike. And I'll see you guys later. This is Lieutenant Mark. Going back to my post. See you later.